Time for dinner. We're reading the book of Zechariah. In the 8th new moon of the 2nd year of Darayavesh, the word of Jehovah came to Zechariah, son of Berechiah, son of Iddo, the prophet, saying, Jehovah was very wroth with your fathers, and you shall say to them, Thus said Jehovah of hosts, Turn back to me, declares Jehovah of hosts, and I shall turn back to you, declares Jehovah of hosts. Do not be like your fathers, to whom the former prophets proclaimed, saying, Thus said Jehovah of hosts, Turn back now from your evil ways and your evil deeds. And they did not obey or give heed to me, declares Jehovah. Your fathers, where are they? And the prophets, do they live forever? But my words and my laws, which I commanded my servants the prophets, did they not overtake your fathers? Then they turned back and said, As Jehovah of hosts planned to do to us, according to our ways and according to our deeds, so he has done with us. On the 24th day of the 11th new moon, which is the new moon Shabbat, in the 2nd year of Darayavesh, the word of Jehovah came to Zechariah, son of Berechiah, son of Iddo, the prophet, saying, I looked at night and saw a man riding on a red horse, and he was standing among the myrtle trees in the shade, and behind him were horses, red, sorrel, and white. And I said, My master, what are these? And the messenger who was speaking to me said to me, Let me show you what they are. And the man who stood among the myrtle trees answered and said, They are the ones Jehovah sent to go throughout the earth. And they answered the messenger of Jehovah who stood among the myrtle trees and said, We have gone throughout the earth, and see, all the earth is at peace and rest. And the messenger of Jehovah answered and said, O Jehovah of hosts, how long would you have no compassion on Yerushalayim and on the cities of Yehudah, against which you were enraged these 70 years? And Jehovah answered the messenger who talked to me, Good words, comforting words. And the messenger who spoke with me said to me, Proclaim, saying, Thus said Jehovah of hosts, I have been jealous for Yerushalayim and for Sion with great jealousy. And I am very wroth with the nations who are at ease, for when I was a little wroth, they furthered the evil. Therefore thus said Jehovah, I shall return to Yerushalayim with compassion. My house shall be built in it, declares Jehovah of hosts, and a surveyor's line be stretched out over Yerushalayim. Again proclaim, saying, Thus said Jehovah of hosts, Again my cities shall overflow with goodness, and Jehovah shall again comfort Sion, and shall again choose Yerushalayim. And I lifted up my eyes and looked and saw 4 horns. And I said to the messenger who was speaking to me, What are these? And he said to me, These are the horns that have scattered Yehudah, Yisrael, and Yerushalayim. And Jehovah showed me 4 craftsmen, and I said, What are these coming to do? And he spoke, saying, These are the horns that scattered Yehudah, so that no one lifted up his head. But these come to trouble them, to throw down the horns of the nations that lifted up their horns against the land of Yehudah, to scatter it. And I lifted up my eyes and looked, and saw a man with a measuring line in his hand. And I said, Where are you going? And he said to me, To measure Yerushalayim, to see what is its width and what is its length. And see, the messenger who was speaking to me was going out, and another messenger was coming out to meet him. And he said to him, Run, speak to this young man, saying, Yerushalayim is to remain unwalled because of the many men and livestock in it. For I myself am to her, declares Yehovah, a wall of fire all around, and for a steam I am in her midst. Oh, and flee from the land of the north, declares Yehovah, for I have scattered you like the four winds of the heavens, declares Yehovah. O Sion, escape, you who dwell with the daughter of Babel. For thus said Yehovah of hosts, for the sake of esteem, he sent me to the nations which plunder you. For he who touches you touches the apple of my eye. For look, I am waving my hand against them, and they shall become spoil for their servants. And you shall know that Yehovah of hosts has sent me. Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Sion. For look, I am coming and shall dwell in your midst, declares Yehovah. And many nations shall be joined to Yehovah in that day, and they shall become my people, and I shall dwell in your midst. And you shall know that Yehovah of hosts has sent me to you. And Yehovah shall inherit Yehudah, his portion in the set-apart land. And he shall choose again Yerushalayim. Hush, all flesh, before Yehovah, for he has roused himself out of his set-apart dwelling. And he showed me Yehoshua, the high priest, standing before the messenger of Yehovah, and Satan standing at his right hand to be an adversary to him. And Yehovah said to Satan, Yehovah rebuke you, Satan. Yehovah, who has chosen Yerushalayim, rebuke you. Is this not a brand plucked from the fire? And Yehoshua was dressed in filthy garments and was standing before the messenger. And he answered and spoke to those who stood before him, saying, Remove the filthy garments from him. And to him he said, See, I have removed your guilt from you, and shall put costly robes on you. And I said, Let them put a clean turban on his head. Then they put a clean turban on his head, and they put garments on him, and the messenger of Yehovah stood by. And the messenger of Yehovah witnessed to Yehoshua, saying, Thus said Yehovah of hosts, If you walk in my ways, if you guard my duty, then you shall also rule my house, and also guard my courts, and I shall give you access among these standing here. Now listen, Yehoshua, the high priest, you and your companions who sit before you, for they are men of symbol. For look, I am bringing forth my set apart, the branch. See the stone which I have put before Yehoshua? On one stone are 7 eyes. See, I am engraving its inscription, declares Yehovah of hosts. And I shall remove the guilt of that land in one day. In that day, declares Yehovah of hosts, you shall invite one another under the vine and under the fig tree. And the messenger who was speaking to me came back and woke me up as a man is awakened from sleep. And he said to me, What do you see? So I said, I have looked and see a lampstand of all gold with bowl on top of it, and on the stand 7 lamps with 7 spouts to the 7 lamps. And 2 olive trees are by it, one at the right of the bowl and the other at its left. Then I responded and spoke to the messenger who was speaking to me, saying, What are these, my master? And the messenger who was speaking to me answered and said to me, Do you not know what these are? And I said, No, my master. And he answered and said to me, This is the word of Yehovah to Zerubbabel, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, said Yehovah of hosts. Who are you, great mountain, before Zerubbabel? A plain. And he shall bring forth the capstone with shouts of favor, favor to it. And the word of Yehovah came to me, saying, The hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house, and his hands shall complete it. And you shall know that Jehovah of hosts has sent me to you. For who has despised the day of small beginnings? They shall rejoice when they see the plumb line in the land of Zerubbabel. These 7 are the eyes of Jehovah, which diligently search throughout all the earth. Then I responded and said to him, What are these 2 olive trees, one at the right of the lampstand and the other at its left? And I responded a second time and said to him, What are these 2 olive branches which empty golden oil from themselves by means of the 2 gold pipes? And he answered me and said, Do you not know what these are? And I said, No, my master. And he said, These are the 2 anointed ones who stand beside the master of all the earth. And I lifted up my eyes again and looked and saw a flying scroll. And he said to me, What do you see? And I answered, I see a flying scroll, 20 cubits long and 10 cubits wide. And he said to me, This is the curse that goes forth over the face of all the earth. Everyone who is stealing shall go unpunished, on the one side according to it, and everyone who has sworn falsely shall go unpunished, on the other side according to it. I shall send it out, declares Jehovah of hosts, and it shall come into the house of the thief and the house of the one who shall swear falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it, both its timber and stones. And the messenger who was speaking with me came out and said to me, Lift up your eyes now, and see what this is that is going forth. And I said, What is it? And he said, It is an ephah measure that is going forth. Again he said, This is the appearance throughout the earth. And see, a lead cover lifted up, and this, a woman sitting inside the ephah measure. And he said, This is wrongness. And he threw her down into the ephah measure and threw the leadway over its mouth. And I lifted up my eyes and looked and saw 2 women coming with the wind in their wings. And they had wings like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the ephah measure between earth and the heavens. Then I said to the messenger who was speaking to me, What are they taking the ephah measure? Where are they taking the ephah measure? And he said to me, To build a house, for it is in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set there on its own base. And I lifted up my eyes again and looked and saw 4 chariots coming from between 2 mountains. And the mountains were mountains of bronze. With the first chariot were red horses, and with the second chariot black horses, and with the third chariot white horses, and with the 4th chariot strong speckled horses. So I responded and said to the messenger who was speaking to me, What are these, my master? And the messenger answered and said to me, These are 4 spirits of the heavens, coming forth from presenting themselves before the master of all the earth. The one with the black horses is going out to the land of the north, and the white ones have gone out after them, and the speckled ones have gone out to the land of the south. And the strong ones went out, eager to go, to walk to and fro in the earth. And he said, Go, walk to and fro in the earth. So they walked to and fro in the earth. And he called to me and spoke to me, saying, See, those who go toward the land of the north have given rest to my spirit in the land of the north. And the word of Jehovah came to me, saying, Receive the gift from the exiles, from Heldai, Tobiah, and Yediah, who have come from Babel. Then you shall go the same day and enter the house of Yoshia, son of Zephaniah. And you shall take the silver and gold, make a crown, and set it on the head of Yehoshua, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest, and shall speak to him, saying, Thus said Jehovah of hosts, saying, See the man whose name is the branch, and from his place he shall branch out, and he shall build the Hekal of Jehovah. It is he who is going to build the Hekal of Jehovah. It is he is going to bear the splendor, and he shall sit and rule on his throne, and shall be a priest on his throne, and the counsel of peace shall be between them both. While the crown for the remembrance in the Hekal of Jehovah to Helem, and to Tobiah, and to Yediah, and to Hen, son of Zephaniah. And those who are far away shall come and build the Hekal of Jehovah, and you shall know that Jehovah of hosts has sent me to you. And this shall be, if you diligently obey the voice of Jehovah your Elohim. And in the 4th year of sovereign Dariavesh, it came to be that the word of Jehovah came to Zechariah on the 4th of the 9th moon, Kislev. Now Bethel had sent Sharezer with Regem-melech and his men to pray before Jehovah, speaking to the priests who belonged to the house of Jehovah of hosts, and to the prophets, saying, Should I weep in the 5th new moon, and fast as I have done for so many years? Then the word of Jehovah of hosts came to me, saying, Speak to all the people of the land, and to the priests, saying, When you fasted and lamented in the 5th and 7th months, all these 70 years, did you truly fast for me? For me? And when you ate and when you drank, was it not for those eating and for those drinking? Are these not the words of which Jehovah proclaimed through the former prophets, when Yerushalayim and the cities around it were inhabited, and in safety, and the south and low country were inhabited? And the word of Jehovah came to Zechariah, saying, Thus said Jehovah of hosts, Execute true right ruling, show loving commitment and compassion, everyone to his brother. Do not oppress the widow or the fatherless, the stranger or the poor, and do not plot evil in your hearts against one another. But they refused to listen, and they shrugged their shoulders and stopped their ears from hearing. And they made their hearts like flint against hearing the Torah and the words which Jehovah of hosts had sent by his Spirit through the former prophets. Therefore great wrath came from Jehovah of hosts, and it did come to be, as he called, and they did not hear. So let them call, but I shall not hear, said Jehovah of hosts. And I scattered them with a storm wind among all the nations which they had not known. And the land was laid waste behind them, no one passing through or returning, for they made the pleasant land a waste.